Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here at the house, thought I would make a quick little intro for this video to say that this is more of a collection of some of the videos that you and I have already done together. I thought I would compile it into like a Grand Ole Opry list, right? Like we've almost got our Hee Haw list compiled, so I thought, hey, I would throw these, all of these were on the Grand Ole Opry, so hey, let's just make like a compilation, right? So with all that being said, let's get to the video. We got the merch, don't forget, we got the member stuff. So let's get into the video, and I hope you enjoy it. What's going on, everybody? Still a dreary day outside of Nashville. We are here visiting another legend in country and rock. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and let's go visit the grave. Now, Charles Edward Daniels was born in October of '36 in North Carolina in Wilmington. In '55, Charlie graduated from high school, started a band, and got the heck out of town, man. Charlie wasn't going to be held back, you know. In '64, he co-wrote "It Hurts Me" with another, you know, with an artist you may or may not have heard of, Elvis Presley. He also did bass and guitar lessons with Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen. There he is. How cool, huh? You know, Johnny's grave was like this too. He released his first album in '71, but his third album had the hit Uneasy Rider, which hit #9 on Billboard. The Devil Went Down to Georgia was released in 1979, and he won a Grammy for that. July of last year, July 6th of 2000, he passed away from a stroke. And he is out here at Mount Juliet Cemetery, and you can see, the last thing I'll do is walk over here where they're putting in this new edge all the way around. They haven't finished yet. They're getting all that put in to enclose. So yeah, Charlie Daniels. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're out here at Sumner Memorial Gardens in Gallatin, Tennessee to see and pay our respects and visit the grave of the legend Conway Twitty. So Conway Twitty was born Harold Lloyd Jenkins on September 1st, 1933 in Friars Point in northwestern Mississippi. The Jenkins family moved to Helena, Arkansas. When he was 10, Jenkins formed his first singing group, the Phillips Country Ramblers. All right, so you see how it's like all square around the tree, and they do this with quite a lot of graves. Like you can see over there, they're doing it, and even right here, it's like they have these trees planted, and they have a set of 4 around each tree, which is kind of a unique take. I like that. It's something different. Jenkins had his own local radio show every Saturday. He also played baseball, his second passion. He received an offer to play with the Phillies after high school, but he was drafted into the United States Army. Soon after hearing Elvis Presley's song Mystery Train, Jenkins began writing rock and roll material. He went to Sun Studios in Memphis and worked with Sam Phillips, the owner and founder, to get his sound, you know, how he was going to sound. Allegedly, in '57, Jenkins decided that his real name was not memorable enough and sought a better show business name. Looking at a road map, when he spotted Conway, Arkansas, and Twitty, Texas, he then chose the name Conway Twitty. God, I don't want to step in an ant bed either. In '58, using his new stage name, his fortunes improved, and a radio station played the B-side of It's Only Make Believe, the song written between sets by Twitty and drummer Jack Nance, The record took nearly 1 year to reach and stay at the top spot on Billboard's pop charts, but after it did, it became #1 in 21 other countries, becoming the first of 9 top 40 hits for Conway. Twitty always wanted to record country music, and beginning in '65, he did just that. DJs on some country music radio stations refused to play his first few albums because he was known as a rock and roll guy. How times have changed, huh? However, he had his first top 5 country hit, "The Image of Me," in July of '68, followed by his first #1 country song, "Next in Line," in November of the same year. So in '70, Twitty recorded and released his biggest country hit, "Hello Darling," which spent 4 weeks at the top of the country chart and is one of Twitty's most recognized songs. Like, what would country music be without that song, right? Twitty soon renewed his image with a new hairstyle, changing from the slick back pompadour style to the curlier hair he would keep the rest of his life. By the late '70s, Twitty had shifted his musical arrangements into a country pop style. His next 23 consecutive singles all made it to the top 10, with 13 peaking at #1. On June 4th, 1993, Twitty became ill while performing in Branson. He collapsed on his tour bus after the show and was rushed to the hospital. He was rushed into surgery, but died of an aneurysm in the early hours of the following morning at the hospital. There it is. Right there. There's Conway Twitty. A simple 33 to 93. Right there. How cool is that? What's going on, everybody? We're out here at Woodlawn Memorial Cemetery, just outside of Nashville, visiting the legendary icon George Jones, the possum himself. So it's a very popular spot. You'd have to imagine there's a lot of people here. So we're going to give these folks their time to do what they have to do. So while we wait, let me tell you a little bit about him. He was born in Texas. He first heard country music at the age of 7, and he was given his guitar at the age of 9. He married his first wife in 1950, but then was divorced in 1951. He served in the Marine Corps and was discharged in '53. He married Shirley Ann Corley in '54, and in '59 he recorded his hit "White Lightning," written by J.P. Richardson. It would be awful nice if J.P. Richardson was out here. That'd be kind of cool to tie that all in together. He recorded "White Lightning," which launched his career as a singer. His second marriage ended divorce in '68, and then he married fellow country music singer Tammy Wynette. Years of alcoholism compromised his health and led to him missing many performances where he's known as No-Show Jones. After divorce from Wynette in '75, Jones married his 4th wife, Nancy, in '83. He became sober for good in '99. In 2013, at age 81, from respiratory failure is what got him. But his big song, "I Stopped Loving Her Today," is the one that really did it for him. I'm just going to title it George Jones, but like, here's another one right here, Johnny Paycheck. Right there. The thing with Johnny Paycheck is he died without a paycheck. He was broke. Everybody had to get together in the country music circle and get him laid to rest. And here it is. Here it is. He stopped loving her today. Loving. It'd help if I could talk. See? Jones at the top. He stopped loving her today. And you see Nancy's stuff right here on the side. Right there's Nancy's stuff. It says, "No teenage boy ever fell harder for a girl than I fell for Nancy when I met my future wife Nancy on a blind date in 1981. That's as close as I can get. There's a rock embankment. It says the Possum right here. They were married March 4th, 1983. I put a golden band on the right left hand. He's got his guitar. There's music notes, or like guitar frets on both sides. And then with George, over here, it says, George Jones was and is the king of broken hearts. He sang of life hardships and struggles in a way that somehow lightened our own. His voice was effortless and unforgivable. He brought unsurpassed emotion, eloquence to every song he sang. He was and is the soul of country music. No one will ever fill his shoes. He is at rest, but his music is alive and ageless. He gifted it to all of us, to the joyful and the broken. Walk through this world with me, he sang, and we will do. And here's the top of the, we'll start at the top and we'll slowly work our way down. You can see him as a kid when he got that guitar that we talked about. And there he is, signature in hand. It says the Possum and his date, birth and death. So there it is. Ain't that something? Wow, wow, wow. I think Kenny's got him beat, but that one's still pretty good. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are here in Goodlettsville. I think that's how you pronounce it. We're in Davidson County, Tennessee, at Luton's Methodist Church, or United Methodist Church. You don't want to get that wrong, because down here there's all kinds of different denominations. So we're here to visit the grave of another screen legend in my eyes, Grandpa Jones. Louis Marshall Jones, better known as Grandpa Jones, was born in a small farming community of Niagara in Henderson County, Kentucky. He was the youngest of 10 children in a sharecropper family. His first instrument was the guitar. He spent his teenage years in Ohio, where he began singing country music tunes on a radio show on WJW. And in 1931, Jones joined the Pine Ridge String Band, which provided the musical accompaniment for the very popular Lum and Abner show. By 1935, his pursuit of a musical career took him to WBZ Radio in Boston, where he met musician and songwriter Bradley Kincaid, who gave him the nickname Grandpa Jones when he was only 22 years old because of his offstage grumpiness at early morning radio shows. Jones liked the name and decided to create a stage persona around it. Based around it later in life, he lived in Mountain View, Arkansas. And in the 40s, he met rising country star Cousin Emmy, from who he learned to play the banjo. Gosh, I am struggling to talk today. Performing as Grandpa Jones, he played the guitar or banjo, he yodeled, and sang mostly old-time ballads. By 1937, Jones made his way to West Virginia, where Cousin Emmy taught Jones the art of the claw hammer style of banjo playing. And in 1943, Jones made his recording debut for King Records. Jones was making records under his own name for King, and by 44, and had his first hit with "It's Raining Here This Morning." His recording career was put on hold when he enlisted in the U.S. Army during World War II. And he was discharged in 46, and he moved to Nashville and started performing on the Grand Ole Opry. He married Miss Ramona Riggins on October 14th of 1946. As an accomplished performer herself, She would take part in his performances. Jones' vaudeville humor was a bridge to television. His more famous songs include T for Texas, Are You from Dixie, Night Train to Memphis, Mountain Dew, and 8 More Miles to Louisville. In the fall of 1968, Jones became a cast member of the long-running television show Hee Haw, often responding to the show's skits with his trademark phrase, outrageous. He also played banjo by himself or with banjo player David Stringbing Aikman. In January of 1998, Grandpa Jones suffered 2 strokes after his second show performance at the Grand Ole Opry. He passed away on February 19th, 1998 at the age of 84. Grandpa Jones. When you leave this earth for a better home someday, the only thing you'll take is what you gave away. Falling Leaves, written by Grandpa Jones. Dang it, the ants. And there's his wife, Miss Ramona. The new mown hay seeds all its fragrance from the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, then I long for my Indiana home. That was written by Harley and McDonald. So yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are out here today to visit the grave and pay our respects to a legend. And as always, the wind's got to blow, right? We're here to pay our respects to the great Minnie Pearl. Sarah Colley was her actual name. Minnie Pearl was her stage name. Was born in Centerville in Hickman County, Tennessee, 50 miles southwest of Nashville. She graduated from Ward Belmont College, now Belmont University. At the time, it was Nashville's most prestigious school for young ladies, where she majored in theater studies and dance. Her first professional theatrical work was with Wayne P. Sewell Production Company, a touring theater company based in Atlanta. She produced and directed plays and musicals for local organizations throughout the Southeast. Part of her work involved making brief appearances at civic organizations to promote the group shows. And during this time, she developed her Minnie Pearl routine while producing an amateur musical comedy in Bladen, Alabama, which is around Coleman. She met a mountain woman whose style and speech became the basis for Cousin Minnie Pearl. Her first stage performance as Minnie Pearl was in 1939 in South Carolina. Her now famous hat was purchased at a downtown department store called Swarovski Brothers. The following year, executives from the Nashville radio station saw her perform at a convention and gave her an opportunity to premiere on the Grand Ole Opry. The success of her debut on November 30th of 1940 began an association with the Opry that continued for more than 50 years. Pearl's comedy was gentle satire of rural Southern culture, often called hillbillies. That's a very common name that they classify us as. You know, us people that say y'alls and hims and reckons and all that stuff. You know, we're not smart people, are we? Pearl always dressed in frilly, down-home dresses and wore a hat with a price tag hanging that had $1.98 on it. Her signature greeting to her audience, all right, I'm not going to do this justice, was howdy. And she just said, I'm just so proud to be here. She had self-deprecating humor about herself, which is great. If you can't make fun of yourself, you know, you don't really need to poke fun at others, right? Pearl drew much of her comedic material from her hometown Centerville, which she called Grinder Switch. Grinder Switch was a community just outside Centerville that consisted of little more than a railroad switch. Those who knew her recognized that the characters were largely based on people that lived down there. After battling breast cancer through aggressive treatments, including a double mastectomy and radiation, she became a spokeswoman for the medical center in Nashville, where she had been treated. She took on this role as herself, Sarah Ophelia Cannon, not Minnie Pearl. Although a non-profit group, the Minnie Pearl Cancer Foundation was founded in her memory to help fund cancer research. Minnie Pearl suffered a debilitating stroke in '91, bringing her performing career to an end. After the stroke, she resided in Nashville at a nursing home where she received frequent visits from many country music stars. She passed away on March 4th of '96 at the age of 83 from another stroke. And there it is, right there. This would be the family lot, I assume. And right there she is, Sarah Ophelia Collie Cannon. What's going on, everybody? We are out here outside of Nashville in what I thought was going to be a little town, but it's not so little, in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And we're here to see the one and only Johnny Cash, the man in black, like one of the most influential artists of the country music era. And it is almost it's surreal, I guess, to come up here and visit and pay our respects to Mr. Cash. Known as the legendary Man in Black, Johnny never really spent time in prison. He was arrested on a few charges, but he never actually did a lot of time for it. Born in Arkansas as one of 7 kids, and he was the middle of the 7, so there was 3 before and 3 behind him. So he was truly the middle child. He enlisted in the Air Force in '51 and was honorably discharged in '54. In '55, he hit the charts with Hey Porter. That was his first chart-topping thing. In 1956, a little-known singer named Elvis Presley dropped in the studio while Carl Perkins was cutting new tracks with legend Jerry Lee Lewis on piano. Cash just so happened to be in the studio that day, and they got together and did a couple tracks, which are now known as the $1 Million Quartet. Cash released his second album, probably the one that really did it, Folsom Prison Blues. It hit top 5 on the country and 20 on the pop charts. After that, he chose to leave Sun for a new record label because Sun was only given 3% of the profits, while the new record label, or most other record labels, were giving 5% of royalties. Elvis did the same at that time of year. Cash met his wife June and performed a duet with her named Jackson, which won a Grammy. In '67, June and some of the family moved in with Johnny to help him recover from drugs and alcohol. And after that, Cash proposed on stage on February 22nd, 1968. They married a week later in Kentucky. Cash went in and out of rehab multiple times. But in '97, Cash was diagnosed with a rare disorder. 2003, June passed away. And not too long after that, in May 15th, June passed away. And in September, just a few months later, Johnny passed away to join her also. And here they are, John Cash and June Carter Cash. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Wow. Kind of speechless. Don't really know what to say. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe by the end of the year, you and I will have traveled and we'll have enough to make another compilation video of even more people So with all that being said, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys on the next one, and you never know what you're going to find on the Backroads.